Just open up, Jimmy, and talk a little bit about.
One of the favorite things that I like to do within my nonprofit is have the opportunity to work with other nonprofits. And I was presented with an opportunity to work with Matching Donors. They're doing wonderful things all over the world, helping people with organ transplants. And the opportunity came to me, my nonprofit and my development company, to help them build a house here in Canton, Massachusetts. The premise behind it is basically Matching Donors is going to build this house, and when it's sold in the end, 100% of the proceeds go back to Matching Donors to help other people with organ transplants in the future. So I immediately, before even knowing all of the ins and outs about the project, agreed to sign on. So my nonprofit and the team that I have is going to join forces with Paul Dooley and his team, as well as my development company and all of the different resources I have within that, to build this house here in Canton. And today we're out here clearing some trees, getting the lot prepped, and going over our kind of original list of what we need to do, what we need to accomplish, and what other contractors that we're going to need to talk to see if we can get them on board to help us with this wonderful project.
If you need a sentence, I'll help you out with a sentence.
All right. I love what you're doing here. This is a great cause. You know, you were talking earlier about how you and I met, which is strange because your nonprofit's out there helping people, my nonprofit's out there helping people, and you and I, just through circumstance, kind of got connected. So I was wondering how you came about getting this particular house here in Canton.
Well, this house came to us because this is the first house that was ever foreclosed on in the past, I think, 50 years for tax abatement.
Okay.
People didn't pay the taxes on it, they lost the property.
Yep.
Town took it, and it was a blight in the community.
Yeah.
So it went to auction, and we purchased it for the nonprofit, figuring that we'll put some money into it and hopefully get some good contractors. And we found you,
Yep.
which is absolutely spectacular. And it worked out that this is going to be a property that we're going to put some money into, make it a nicer property, flip it, and all the proceeds go to Matching Donors.
You know, when you asked me to meet you that day for lunch and you started to describe what you were doing, within 5 minutes I was on board. I jumped in and I had no problem doing it, and I'm happy, and it's been a wonderful relationship ever since. I reached out to my team, my nonprofit team, immediately. I think I called you that day and I said, hey, I got like 10 people on board. And you know, we started raising money, and we put a pool of a significant amount of money together, probably
Absolutely.
40-50 grand in a few days, just from different contributions that we can use as we're building this, just to give us the tools we need, you know, to make sure we can get through the process.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I have several hats I wear, and one of them is my nonprofit project outreach, as you know.
Yes.
Another hat I wear is Lamar Folkman Development Group, which I think is what you read about in the paper when we had the article, and JML Custom Building, my construction company. So it was kind of the perfect storm here that you and I connected. So I love this area. This is going to be a wonderful house. I looked at the plans that you have drawn up with the garage on it, and it would still be beautiful with the second level. It'll appear to be a brand new house. So one thing I'm doing now with Paul is rounding up a variety of different contractors that are willing to come in and help us with this wonderful cause. I've talked to my concrete guy, I've talked to my lumber guy, I've talked to my framer, who's already on board, as well as my partners, all three of them in the development group, and then my nonprofit partners. And we're all on board. So Paul and I have work cut out for us to get some other good contractors involved with this process. And I don't foresee any problem getting a number of people on board.
No, I don't. Especially since we have some people involved that we would have involved, but you're bringing in the whole other crew.
Yeah.
Everyone that can really do all the work, you know, follow through with it. It takes, like any nonprofit, it takes time for someone to say, I can do it for no cost or low cost or donate.
Right.
But you have people working for you all the time, which are available and willing.
And I give guys a lot of work, so sometimes when you're reaching out for a favor, you know, it's a little easier. One thing Paul and I talked about is, ideally we'd like to get everything 100% donated. Now, if that's realistic or not, we'll soon find out. But I've also got other vendors and contractors willing to do it that can't possibly do it 100%, will donate costs, at material at cost for us, and or labor at cost, which is still a great and wonderful help. And I think that overall organization will help us get this project done, and done well, and all the benefits go to matching donors. So what happens when the house is sold and that money goes back in? How will that help people? And talk to me a little bit about how that'll all work.
100% of the money that's the proceeds will go back to matching donors and nonprofit. We help people get organ transplants throughout the world, throughout the United States. We help them with flights, with airfare, with expenses, things they need. We help them with memberships. We hook them up with doctors. We get them with hospitals.
Wow.
We have volunteers who will bring them to hospitals, bring them to their appointments. We have people who, if they're not English speaking, they can go to their house and explain everything to them about the whole situation, no matter where they are in the country, as far as volunteers. So we really help with everything that insurance doesn't pay for.
Okay, okay.
The average time someone in this country gets an organ transplant through the government's list is 7 to 10 years. With us, it's less than 6 months. Because we have altruistic donors. So the donor themselves will have to travel. A lot of times they have to travel with their family, or their mother, their father, their spouse, as a support system for testing and for surgery. So we help them out with that.
So that money's there available to help their families as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul and I were talking, part of my Project Outreach nonprofit, we help veterans as well as non-veterans in recovery, and we have some individuals within my organization that's Paul's trying to work with and see if he can help us out. There's one individual that needs a transplant, and Paul was so generous with his time and his energy and his efforts to try to see if we can help some of the people in my organization. So me reaching out to help Paul, Paul reaching out to help me, and then us reaching out to this whole variety of different people. It's just people helping people, nonprofits helping nonprofits. It's a win-win.
It is.
Let's give it a big shake. Big shake. That's good. Yeah, like give me that nice push. That's a cut to the shake. All right, good.
All right.